Hi everybody, my name is Arthur and welcome to our PixelPAD tutorial. We are coding our Fruit Slashers game. In the last class, we added randomness to our game, so now our game is more diverse. Our fruits are being created on the bottom of the screen in a random position on the x-axis, right? And we also introduced velocity x to our game. Now the fruits can also go a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right. And they also have a random velocity y, right? They start with a random velocity y, so some of them go higher than others. And for today's video, I want to present you a challenge that I want you to try to do by yourself, but we're going to solve this challenge on next class, okay? So for the challenge, let me go here on the spawner and the loop tab, because here we have a timer, and then when this timer reaches 0, we create a fruit that is a banana, right? And we say that this banana has a sprite that is this sprite here, the banana.png. So what I want you to do is first delete this line 7 here that we set a sprite for this banana. I'm gonna delete that. And I also want to delete these. I don't need to store my fruit inside banana because I'm not gonna do anything with this fruit. So what I want to do is I want my spawner to just create a fruit for me. A fruit. It's not a banana, it's a fruit. Right? So now when I stop and play my game, you can see that only jumps a fruit for me, but it doesn't have a sprite, right? So inside the fruit class, here on the start tab, I want you to do something. So before, the spawner was creating for us our fruit, right? Our fruit here. And the spawner was also giving this fruit a sprite, right? But now what I want you to do is, well, the spawner is not giving the sprite to this fruit anymore, right? So this fruit is being created without any sprite, right? That's how our game is now. But now the fruit itself will decide which sprite it's gonna use. And how can we do that? So for now, we only have a banana sprite in our game, right? So the first thing you want to do is to add a couple more sprites in PixelPAD. So let's say you add an eggplant, a watermelon, and a pineapple. And this is what you want to do. Whenever your fruit is created inside the game, it will get a random sprite and assign it to it. So it can either be a banana, it can be an eggplant, it can be a watermelon, or it can be a pineapple. And how are you gonna do that? Well, you will need a variable to store a number. So here, let's say you create a variable that is like a box, right? And this variable is gonna store, let's say, fruit number. So inside this box, you're gonna use a random function to give you a number between 0 and 3. And why 0 and 3? Because 0 is gonna be representing the first fruit, so the banana. So 1 is gonna be for the eggplant, 2 for the watermelon, and 3 for the pineapple. And then what you can do is whatever number it gets here, so let's say it got the number 2 here. Later, once you get the fruit number, you then check if this fruit number here is equals to, let's say, 2. If it is equals to 2, then you have to set your sprite. So how can you set your sprite? Sprite and the name of your sprite, right? You can say that your sprite is gonna be watermelon if your number is 2, right? If your number is not 2, if your number is 1, let's say, then you get the eggplant sprite, right? If your number is 3, you get the pineapple sprite, right? So that's what I want you to do in this class. But first, I have to show you something very important that you will need. So here, if we go back to PixelPAD, you can see that those random functions I'm using to return a number between minus 600 and 600, right? But they won't really work very well for you if you try to check if your number is 2 or if your number is 1, and why not? So just to show you, here I'm gonna create a variable self.number, and this number is gonna be a random.uniform. You don't have to type this. This is just an example to show you what I want to say here. So a random.uniform, so let's say I'm trying to get a number between 0 and 3, right? So between 0 and 3. And I'm gonna use a print function. So the print, this print here is gonna write for me something on the console window. So I can say, for example, print myself.number. So it's gonna show me whatever number I got from this random function, right? And this is on the fruit start. So whenever I fruits created, I'm gonna get a random number, and this is gonna print the number for me. And you can see that the number that I get is a very large number, right? And they are all float numbers. So what are float numbers? Float numbers are numbers that have the period on it. So it's 2 point something or 0 point something and 1 point something. Other thing that you can see is that we never get the number 3. So it doesn't really go from 0 to 3. It goes from 0 until 2.999999. And this is kind of bad because let's say we get this number here, 2.69. Let's say we get 2.69. So whenever we check if this number is equals 2, it won't be equals to, right? Because this is 0.69, whatever, many numbers, right? So what we have to do is we have to transform this number that we get here into an integer number. I don't want to have a float number like that. I want to have 0, 1, 2, or 3, right? So what I can do to transform this number that I get here into an integer number is to say here before random.uniform, I can say int, and I can surround all the random.uniform with brackets. So I open a bracket here and I close a bracket here. So what I'm doing is I'm getting a random number between 0 and 3 and transforming this number to be an integer number. So before, this was the values that we were getting, right? And now whenever I stop and play, those are the values we get. We get 1, what else? We get 0, we get 0, we get 1, and we also get 2. But we still don't get 3. So instead of you using from 0 to 3, you actually need to say from 0, starting from 0, right? And it goes until 4, but as we know, it will go only until 3.99999, right? And whenever we transform this into an integer number, it gets rid of whatever I have after the point. So this is giving me a number between 0 and 3. And now if I stop and play my game, you can see that will print numbers for me from 0 to 3. So that's how we can get a random number between 0 and 3, right? And now you can check after this line here. So let's say you don't have the print here. You can start checking if the number is 0, you get a banana. If the number is 1, you get an eggplant. If the number is 2, you get a watermelon. And if the number is 3, you get a pineapple, right? So I'll leave that with you, and we're going to solve this on the next class together. But try it first, all right? So I'll see you in the next video. Bye.